Boom. What's up, guys? On a Fights here, and we're here with George. What'd you do today?
I went undefeated on last week's tournament.
Woo! What deck? What deck?
I am playing Gravidia.
Oh, wow.
Sorry, just kidding. I'm playing Zorga Mask.
Oh, wow.
Or not Zorga Mask, Zorga Phantom.
Yeah.
Playing Zorga Phantom today. One of the new decks that came out in the recent set 13. It was called Parallactic Clash or something like that.
Yup, that's
So
the
yeah,
one.
I went undefeated with Zorga. First time for everything. I really like this deck because of its playstyle, and also because I played Zorga back then when it first came out, so that's cool.
Nice.
I refuse to use the Phantom unit, that guy dude. So I would run any other starter but that one. But yeah, so starter, or if you're going second, you right into it, you draw a card, and then we have Rancor Chain, which is originally the Zorga guy for Stoicheia. So his ability is when you call him out or write into him, you show a Zorga grade 3 from your right deck, and then you bring out this new set order. It's the Lab. Pretty cool grade 1 order zone card. You rest it to bring out the mutant from the Lab. It breaks out. It's a grade 1 0k. However, it gets plus 5k for each grade of your Vanguard. So if you're at grade 1, it becomes a 5k, grade 2, 10k, grade 3, 15k.
It's pretty crazy.
And it's also, so it can either be a booster or an attacker. And at the end of the turn, it dies and runs back to the Lab. So that's kind of the gimmick of the deck, and I'll show you what else the gimmick does.
Well, quick question about the Lab. Does it actually come in a cost or anything, like a Counter Blast or a Soul Blast?
No, you just rest it and pop it out.
Wow, that's so free.
It's free.
Yeah, that's nice.
For the grade 1s, for my build, I don't know if anybody else's build, but I run a crap ton of grade 1s, and you will see why. So starting off with the PGs, you got to run the 4 PGs.
Ooh, shiny.
SPs.
Yeah, SPs from like the very first set.
Nice.
Which Zorga first came out in.
Nice.
And then you got to have the Elementaria because safety is always needed.
Yes, it is.
So for the first new grade 1 for the deck, we have Herminia. Originally, she was a grade 2 in Stoicheia for Zorga back then, but now she's a grade 1 researcher unit. So her first ability is if you have not put a card in your order zone or that's turn, as well as not having the same name as her in the order zone, you get to put her in the Lab and you draw a card. And then her ability from the order zone is if you have at least 2 Binding Crimson Moon orders, which I'll show you what they are, you could discard a card to give your Zorga Vanguard the red text triple drive ability.
Wow.
Oh, nice.
So that's pretty cool. Sadly, it can be targeted by Elementaria. And then her other ability is when she's boosting a grade 3 Zorga unit, she gets plus 5. And then you may Soul Blast 1, check the top 3 cards of your deck, and do a mandatory discard 1. It's an interesting card because you get to possibly take a dump and filter out a non-trigger unit. But if you reveal 3 triggers, that sucks. And you got to discard a trigger.
Damn.
Then she gets plus 2. So she's pretty much a 15k booster for your Zorga.
Nice. That's a good number.
Next grade 1, we are playing another researcher unit. This is Bone Flesh Ripper. So
Shiny.
I have 3 SRs and 1 FFR that we pulled in our case. Check out our video if you haven't seen it yet.
Yes, please.
Video link down below.
So all those researcher units kind of do the same thing where they, once per turn, you could put one of them in the order zone and you do draw a card. So she does the same thing as Herminia. Her order zone ability is you may retire minimum 1 unit, max 2 rear guards, and you draw a card. If you retire 2 of your rear guards, you countercharge 1. So she's your countercharger of the deck.
Nice. Good floor.
And
Nice.
yeah, so you want to run 4, so you could have her to throw her in the Lab. And she has a drop zone ability where if you Alchemix, which is the ability that Zorga does, I'll explain it later. If you do not have a copy of her on the rear guard circle, and if she's in the drop zone, you may call her to an open back row unit, rear guard circle, and then at the end of the turn she retires. So she becomes an AK booster. And yes, run 4 because she's your countercharger. Next up, we're running these Genome gel units. I call them the Jello units.
Oh, nice.
So we have the grade 1 Doggo. So his ability is when placed from hand, you may Soul Blast 1, and you could take any normal unit, and you may throw it into the drop zone. So it's a controlled dump. But again, only when placed from hand. other ability is when this becomes the target to Alchemix for your Zorga's ability, you do a mandatory draw one card, and then you can counterblast one to draw another card. So he's your pot of greed. I like to use him in the early game, but by late game you don't want to do that because then you're gonna with a triple drive with Herminia and then possibly drawing this. That's 5 cards already. So you be careful. You will deck yourself out. Next Genome Gel unit is the Rat, which is honestly one of my favorites of the 3 Genome Gel units that are introduced in this deck. So this one has an ability where if you Alchemix with it, you give the grade 1 monster unit plus 10k.
Nice.
So yeah, he increases the attack power of the mutant unit, as well as having a drop zone ability where if you have the grade 1 mutant unit, if you do not have a copy of the Rat in the field, you may Energy Blast 3, call it out, and it gets plus 5. So it becomes a 13k attacker and or booster. And then the last grade 1 I run, like I said, you run a lot of grade 1s. Since you're using a Fantôme unit, you got to use these Crimson Moonlights. Crimson Moon. One SR pulled from the case.
Nice,
Watch the video if you haven't seen it yet. So this one, so there's a rare variant, and then there's the double rare variant. You most likely want the double rare variant, but if you can't afford it, then there's nothing wrong with that. Just use the rare until you could get the double rares. So the Moon order, what it does is, when you use it, you check the top 5 cards of your deck, choose one card from among them that's grade equal to or less than your Vanguard, and you either call it out, or if you choose the Crimson Moon order, you add it to your hand. Here's the difference between the double rare and the rare version. If you miss a target, you draw a card. The rare variant doesn't let you. You either call something out or you miss. And then it has a damage zone ability where if it's in the damage zone, you may take it from the damage zone to the drop zone and take the top card of your deck, put it face up. Because you want these to be either in your soul or the drop zone or hand.
Yup.
For your Fantôme abilities, which I will explain in a bit. So yeah, I run that's probably 16 to 20 grade 1s.
Insane.
So
hey, first place? Yeah.
First place. Now we're going to our grade 2s. So this is the last Genome Gel unit, the Jelly Man. What he does is really cool. He has a drop zone ability, and when you Alchemix with it. So if you Alchemix with it, you give the grade 1 mutant unit, you give it a crit.
Oh, wow.
So getting the ability to get a crit almost every turn if you have the Jelly Man out is really good pressure, and it's just really good. So yeah, run 4.
Yup.
It also has a drop zone ability, which I feel is really busted. So when you bring out the mutant, if you don't have a copy of this dude on your rearguard circle, and if it's on drop zone, you just call it out for free. And if you have a Zorga grade 3 Vanguard, it gets plus 5.
That's crazy.
So what's really cool is you could, and again, this isn't like Zorga restricted. So if you're at grade 1, you bring out the mutant. If this is in the drop zone, you call it out. Same with grade 2 and stuff. So you can do some pretty good early game rush and plays.
Oh,
Nice.
And then the last grade 2, I only run 7 grade 2s in this deck. So the next card is Margaret. She was originally a Stoicheia cycler, where if you discard it, for your right deck, Soul Blast 1, put her in the bottom of the deck and you draw a card. But now she's a Fantôme unit, so she's working with the labs. In the labs. So for her ability, when you discard her in the right deck, if you have a Fantôme unit Vanguard, you Soul Blast, I think either Soul Blast 1 or Energy Blast 3, and you add the Crimson Moon order from your deck to your hand.
Nice. Love that.
And then like other cyclers, if you use it on guard, you could either Energy Blast 3 or draw a card, and Counter Blast 1, Energy Blast 3 to draw a card.
Nice.
Draw that PG.
Yeah.
So I got a quick question. How come you don't run that other grade 2 common, the researcher guy?
The researcher guy. Irvin Moneybags is talking about this grade 2 guy. He's another researcher unit, so you may put him into the lab. For his ability, it's if you may bind him from the lab, so you fire him. And for every binded Crimson Moonlight you have, you give a unit plus 5k. It's good for super late game, but I feel, in my opinion, when I was playtesting, it was a little too slow for my taste. So that's why I changed it. I took him out.
Oh, okay.
But that's just me. Everybody has their own tastes.
That is true.
So if you wish to use them, by all means, go right ahead. It's your deck.
Build. Yeah.
It is
Your deck, your choice, and it's not cheap. There's no cheaper build. This deck is actually relatively cheap.
Yeah.
It's just the Moon orders are the most expensive card.
Exactly. It is your deck still at the end of the day.
Yeah, your choice, your deck, your choice. Grade 3, it's the Fantôme unit himself, Zorga Fantôme. So I only run the 3 grade 3s, personal writing. So what this awesome guy does is, he has what's called a Fantôme skill, which all Fantôme units have, where you had to bind X amount of Crimson Moonlights in either your soul, drop, or hand, I believe. For his, it's you bind 1 minimum, where you could then superior call up to the same number of cards from Genome gel units from your drop zone, equal to up to the same number of bind Moonlight orders. So on first ride of Zorga, you'll bind 1, so you call 1 Genome gel unit from your drop zone to the field. And then if you was on turn 2 for Zorga, you bind 2, and you may call up to 2. It just helps with filling up your field with your jelly, so then you could use his main on attack ability. So when he attacks, for clarification, this is not grade 3 restricted, so if your opponent's a grade 2, rush their booties. You may counterblast 1, and you perform what's called Alchemix. So if you choose your mutant unit, dude, choose your mutant. So yeah, let's say you have some jellies out, 1 of each, because you can only choose 1 of each. So on attack, you choose your mutant unit, and then you may put up to as many Genome gel units with different names onto him, which is called Alchemix. So you pretty much put them underneath the soul of the dude, and if he was resting, his other ability is if he's at rest, if you perform Alchemix, you restand him.
Oh, wow.
And if he's in the back row, so if he was a booster, you may move him to an open front on top. So, like I said, I mainly use him for attacking, but if for some reason I use him as a booster, he moves up and then he can attack.
Nice.
And then this is the Alchemix is also what triggers the jelly. So most likely you'll be 15k because you're at Zorga. So he'll be 15k with a crit, as well as plus 10k, so it would be 25. And then with the wolf, you're gonna, if you wish, you'll draw a minimum 1, max 2 if you counterblast. And lastly, Zorga's ability after doing the Alchemix, if you have at least 1 binded Crimson Moonlight order, the mutant and Zorga both get plus 5. But if you have 3 minimum or more in the bind zone, they get plus 10 instead.
Crazy.
So yeah, this is mainly a 4 attack deck, but having the mutant be like a minimum 25 with a crit is still pretty deadly. It's kind of a baby number, but hey, if it means them to drop triggers to guard it, then yeah. Or it could be 33 if you use the Bone Ripper, if you have one in the drop zone, since you perform Alchemix. She most likely he's gonna have no rear guard in the back, so she calls out, so he'll be 33.
Crazy.
Or 38 if you have at least 1 binded. 48 if you're persona ridden. Triggers, they're pretty much same straightforward triggers. You gotta run the 4 heals. I don't have any of the special heals, but I like these because they're 4 heals.
Shiny.
Either way they look nice.
Yeah. 4 of the special crits that no one uses their effects, but I wanted them because they're hollow. And
Nice, shiny cards.
I'm a shiny whore when it comes to my decks. Next up, we run another set of crits. Again, they're FRs just like the heals, and they look really badass because they look like Starvaders.
They do.
And then lastly, we do 3 fronts because I like to buff up my front row. Yeah, and it's good shield. And then of course you run the 1 OT, Eldo Breath, which if you know any newcomer players, what it does is that when you reveal it in your drive check, it pretty much doubles all the power and crits of your front row units.
Pretty broken, actually.
Yeah, so, and also, like, let's say you get, like, a crit first, and then Eldo Breath, it's just gonna hurt.
Yeah.
Nice.
Like, in my last game, on game 3, I was playing against the Sweet Treats, I think they're called, the Lyrical deck, and I got crit. He did 2 to pass, and I got crit. Gave it all to Vanguard because why not, and then I got this. So I hit him for 4 damage.
Yeah, 4 damage.
4 damage, and he was at 3.
Oh shit.
He didn't Miracle Heal, but he got OT at
Or defensive.
Yeah, for defensive on 5th, but it didn't matter.
Crazy.
Still
And
take more damage.
he still had to take more damage, and that won me the game.
Crazy.
Yeah, that's crazy.
But yeah, I really enjoyed this deck. Very friendly towards trying to learn like the Phantom units. Like they're all pretty beginner friendly, I guess.
Yeah.
But I just like Zorga because, you know, it was my first deck. And if you guys like the channel, let me know what your guys' build is. I'm always all for learning other people's builds and stuff. And hopefully in the future we'll make more videos so you guys can watch those, maybe some fights. Yeah, tell us what you guys think, and thanks for watching.
Yeah, On a Fight's out.